estate professional and a marketing entrepreneur, and welcome to another episode of Steady Real Estate Market. Our hottest topic right now is tips on how to get your home sold fast. How to get it sold. We're going to give you some tips on what to do and how to get it done in today's market. This is not only a YouTube channel where we talk about, or a platform where we not only talk about buying, selling, and investing in real estate, but we also talk about different hot topics in regards to entrepreneurship as well as building generational wealth. So this is your first time checking out this platform, be sure to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We want to make sure that you also click on the notification button, because as new information is being released, you'll get the latest and greatest information that's out there in regards to today's real estate market. So be sure to do that. But with that, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get things started. All right, tips on how to get your home sold fast. Hope you guys like a little picture there. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get started. So for those who have been living under a rock or just curious about what is going on with the whole COVID situation, hey guys, COVID situation is over with for the most part. Now, something that I have to share with, and I do share with a lot of my seller clients, is that if they are thinking about selling their home, they are going to have different people coming into their home. So are there certain protocols that you can have? Yes, you can have those in place. Hand sanitizer, a lot of people, some people are still wearing masks. It depends on how comfortable you want people to feel when they're in their home, because you do want them to feel like they're in their home. But I do understand if that situation does change, especially if you have kids, especially newborns. I've had some clients with newborn kids, and it was of a concern. So one of the things that we did is that when people came in, we actually did have hand sanitizer. We did ask them, it was a note on the door saying, hey, the family is still occupying the property. We do have a newborn or newer born in the property. If you can hand sanitize, use the provided hand sanitizer. They would clean that. I had Lysol as well. So once the open house was over with, I would go ahead and spray the heavy touch areas, and they would also do some different things as well. So keep that in mind. It is still out there to a sense, not everyone is protected. And then it just seems like there's a new strand every other month of it anyway. So staying protected, keeping the home clean, Lysol down, new people in the house, new germs, it happens. So keep that in mind, guys. All right, 7 tips on listing your home. So these are some tips I wanted to share with you guys, because these are tips are pretty important. I find them to be very important. They're very common. And you see that if these just a few tips are not followed, you see how it will impact the home being sold. So the first one I have is, what does the property look like online? Knowing the history of a home is kind of important. I've seen properties where they've listed it, and then when the property is placed online and people look it up, they find the address, but they may even find older pictures of the home. So if there's been updates that have been done to the home, you actually want those pictures to be shown versus, say, the old pictures where it may not show the updates that have been done to the property. So that is very important. Also, if the property's been listed, it's something I go over with my sellers. If the property's been on the market in the process of getting it sold, and it for some reason stays on the market for a period of time, 30 plus days, people or potential buyers begin to think, why? Or they begin to start thinking, it's been on the market for 30 days. Sellers are probably a little softened up. Maybe I could give them a lower price offer. So keep that in mind. When your property stays online for a period of time, people see that, they're wondering what's going on, and buyers are trying, or they're looking for some type of incentive. So keep that in mind when you are looking at these homes today, or when you're selling your home. This is something I go over with my sellers on a regular basis. Hey, we're trying to get this property sold. These are some things to anticipate if for some reason we're on the market for a period of time. If it's on a period of time and you're comparing it to other properties that are being sold or other properties have gone under contract since you've been on the market, and it's very comparable. And it's really a time to look at your property. You know, is it because that home sold because they have more features, or is it priced less, or did, for whatever reason, buyers saw more value in other homes versus yours? And how do we add more value to your current home? So that's tip number one. It's a mouthful, but it's very, very important because it's all about perception. All right, show ready mindset. So when you're in the process of listing your home, it's really important that everyone is on the same page. It's a roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster when you're selling your home. It's about staying high energy and keeping the goal, the end goal in mind. So picture day every day. So what I mean by that is you're keeping the property up to date, you're keeping it clean, you're keeping it smelling good. When you have showings or when you're waking up in the morning, you're washing the dishes and make sure there's no dirty dishes left in the sink, and that people can, when they potentially view the home, there's not a sink full of dirty dishes, because, you know, if you're showing your home, no one wants to see a sink full of dirty dishes. So keep that in mind with your showings, making sure that when you are doing your showings, make sure that you have the blinds open. There's typically a process. I typically have a process already set up. So a separate set of tips for my sellers who want to get their home sold, things that they should do in order to get the home sold during a showing. You know, you may have some light music being played in the background, so people may leave one of the TVs on with just music playing, making sure that the blinds are open. Also turning on the ceiling. I'm big on this, turning on the ceiling fans. And the reason I suggest this to my sellers is because when you walk into a home and the ceiling fans aren't on versus when they are on, it seems that the ceiling fan gives the home life. You know, that there's motion, that there's activity, that the air's not stagnant, that there's movement, even though there's no one there, there's movement. So it has a different perspective of things, okay? So keep that in mind. Just one of my little tidbits I always share with any of my sellers. But making sure that that property is show ready. Beds are made. If you do have pets, make sure that they're pet litter boxes or all that's been cleaned up. I'm going to have very little evidence of a pet. I even had at one situation where a family, they actually, and I'm glad they did it, we didn't have to go through this, but they actually had their dog go live with the in-laws. So it was, the in-laws took the dog, and they were more than happy to take the dog too. It was an issue for them to get the dog back. So, so keep that in mind. But keep that in mind, show ready mindset, everybody on the same page, the kiddos, husband, wife, adults in the family, kids, whoever's in the house, everybody's on the same page. Keep it clean, picture day every day. Pre-listing inspection, this is something that's big. With any of my sellers, I've even gotten to a point where I provide a specific package, marketing, and as part of my marketing package where I do pre-listing inspection. Something that I've added just because I see how potential things on inspections kill the deal, and they could have been taken care of before the property was listed. You know, in this business, sometimes I have to put my foot down and, you know, really, you know, take charge of the transaction, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't sell, any seller is always going to look back at me. You know, it's going to be my fault. It was never their fault. They're saying, you know, it comes down to being a stronger agent in that situation. So it's really putting your foot down. So as a homeowner, if you're listening to this, it's just one of those situations where, hey, you need to get the property inspected. You need to have it inspected. If it will cost a few $100s. Don't get me wrong, it does. But there may be, like I said, it's a lot of benefits with it versus you having to do the repairs or paying a licensed contractor to come in. And keyword is licensed contractor. Okay, because if something comes back in an inspection they're going to, on the contract, it states that a licensed contractor will need to come and make those repairs. So you can only imagine, like I had a client, they didn't fix the toilet handle. Okay. So by them not fixing the toilet handle, first of all, on the inspection report, the inspector made it look like it was the end of the world. But it was really a simple fix. It was a part that was $10 at the local Home Depot. It probably took anywhere 15 minutes to replace it. However, they had to have a professional come in. Professional plumber, it's about $80 an hour. So you can only imagine. So not only are they going to be charging you more for the part, they're going to also charge you a full hour for labor. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So just imagine that, guys. So keep that in mind. Make sure you do a pre-home inspection. There's some things that obviously that are probably bigger items that you may want to have a professional take care of, or if it's too big of an item, it's something that any potential buyer may be aware of, that you can make them aware of beforehand, and you can tell them, hey, the price has already been adjusted for this, but this is what's going on, so that they're not shocked or surprised. And so keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with any of these type of properties and you have a big item that's on there. If you have a resolution on there that just needs to be worked out, then I typically will share that with any potential contract that comes through when I'm representing any of my sellers. I'll, tell the potential buyer's agent, say, hey, this is what's going on in the inspection report. These items have been taken care of. You find it a lot with roofs right now. Some people are willing to do the roof just before closing so that it is, taken care of, or they may adjust the price already because of the roof or because of some other item that's going on with the property. So keep that in mind. And it's always avoiding, it says, why didn't buyers buy before? So typically what happens is if you don't get this pre-listing inspection and your property does go on inspection and you get surprised by something, that's always the huge question. Why didn't the potential or the previous buyers not buy the home? They were under contract and then they weren't under contract. What happened? So that's always, I say thousands of dollars going down the drain, because now they're going to wish to offer less for your property because you got surprised on a previous contract that didn't go through. Because if you would have had a pre-listing inspection, you would have known about these items and probably could have taken care of it or made the potential buyer already aware of what's going on. So keep that in mind. All right, another hot tip, consider your representation. Hey, not everyone's built the same. Not every agent is the same. Just because they have the same license doesn't mean that they will represent you the same. Just because they are a broker doesn't mean that they have the same amount of knowledge. I run into this all the time. You have certain agents that are sellers agents and you have certain agents that are buyers agents. Then you have some that are going back and forth with the process, and you can represent both. For me, I am a listing specialist. So I have a particular marketing plan. So a lot of things that I share, and a lot of my clients don't ask, but I share it with them, is my marketing plan, as in what do I plan on doing to get their property sold in today's market. And that's what wins me a lot of listings, is because for some reason, people do not share their marketing plan to build the confidence of any potential seller. And that's one of the things that I do. I like to share my marketing plan, also credentials. Just there's so many different things and resources that I have that I share. I let them know. It's not just because I'm sitting here and I'm smiling and I take some great pictures online. It's really a process, and what my mindset is as a particular seller's agent and who I represent. It's important for sellers to net the most. That's something I truly explain. Make sure that the process is smooth as it can be. It's never smooth, super smooth, just because it's always a situation. There's always something that comes up. Every transaction that comes up is different. And that's what makes me aware. I'm aware of that, and just being flexible and just having the resources and being resourceful if something else does come up. So that's always a big thing. And then just make sure they get through the process. the least amount of hassle, and then having it done, least amount of hassle and the fastest amount of time. So that's huge for any potential seller. So as I represent my different sellers, that's what I tell them. That's what I'm going to be bringing to the table. And we sit down and we go over that. And that's what keeps me in the business. So make sure, tip number 4, if you are trying to get your property sold fast, be sure that you are asking the right questions. I will be doing a separate video that is specific to questions to ask any real estate professional that you are potentially hiring. So keep that in mind, guys. All right, tip number 5. So with tip number 5, this is what we have. This is what's going on. Tip number 5, marketing strategy. So, and I say marketing strategy refresh because marketing strategies are changing on a regular basis, guys. So keep that in mind, that everything's never the same. With however the market is, the market may potentially be, technology changes every day. So it's always important to make sure that you're staying up to date with technology. So with technology changing, make sure that the marketing plan is current. That's something that I ensure with my sellers. I also provide them with what I call strategic pricing analysis of the market. So how they can strategically price the property and make sure that it does get sold fast. It's not just telling the value, but it's also telling them a time frame, potential time frame of what it would take if you price it at this number versus this number versus the things that you have and features that your property has. Also providing them with potential cash offers. I deal with a lot of cash buyers, big hedge fund companies that are coming in, especially in my market, where they're just buying properties. And then also making sure that in that same marketing strategy, make sure that I'm highlighting the different features, especially I would hope it's a no-brainer, but if there's a pool home in Florida, you're heavily taking more pictures of the pool area just because people are attracted to that, making sure that that area is cleaned up, freshened up without any worries, and also any updates that have been done to a particular home, making sure that those images are seen very clearly online. So another tip, that was tip number 6, or actually tip number 5. Tip number 6 would be having professional pictures taken. Guys, you have to have professional photos. That's a mandatory for me. Even when I've had situations where I've had properties that were foreclosed, I still had a professional photographer come in and take great pictures, and by that, I attracted more potential buyers. Obviously, you're going to see the home, the condition that it's in, but the game is attracting potential buyers. That's what it is. You have to attract people to the property. If you're taking crappy pictures online and leaving that online, people just don't think much of the property. The mindset of any potential buyer, you never know what any potential buyer is thinking, the emotional process. So you don't want to just take the pictures yourself. I see a lot of people, they take the pictures themselves. So make sure you have professional photography come in, add any virtual tours. That's a big thing right now that's leveraging technology. There's different virtual tours that can be presented. So to get your property sold, people want to see get the whole show of the home. That's what potential buyers want. A lot of buyers aren't local. A lot of them are coming from other areas. And if they can find a home online and view everything online, then that's having virtual images and walkthroughs. Perfect for them. Perfect. Those are the homes that they're really going to look at and really take the time to view. So with tip number 7, you guys have seen that slide there for a little minute. You guys got to be patient. This is really understand what the market is doing right now. Homes are not flying off the shelf like they were. Homes are staying on the market for a period of time. Depending upon the market you're in, that's why it's important to understand what it is your property is doing or your community is doing, your market is doing. for homes and what is it taking for homes to get sold. So be sure to be aware of that. Be patient, do the necessary things, be aware of the time frame, and also keep in mind, and another tidbit I like to share with potential sellers. Hey, if we're competing with another property and I'm telling you that, hey, we have days on market averaging 40 days, 30 days, and a property sells before yours is very comparable, that starts the clock all over, okay? It doesn't mean that the clock keeps going. It starts the clock all over because you had a bunch of people looking at one particular property and they made that selection and then they bought it within that 40 days, but the clock starts over. It doesn't keep going, guys. So keep that in mind. If you may need to make any price adjustments or any considerations of making adjustments just to get the property sold. So keep that in mind. Who's helping you with your largest investment? Guys, if you are in the Tampa Bay area and you have questions about your real estate, feel free to reach out to me. I also offer a free online evaluation where there's no obligation. There should be a link in the description here. You can just click on the link, and that link will take you to online evaluation page where you can just give them the property information and it'll give you a general evaluation of your property. Obviously, if you want more detail, you can set up an appointment with me as well. Feel free to contact me. Social media, my handle is there at the bottom of the screen. But really think about who's helping you with your largest investment. Ask the right questions. Like I said, it's always a big deal. And understanding not only who you're working with, but also understanding what the market is doing. So each month I do a market update. So be sure to tune in for that. Be sure to get the information regarding the market update so that you guys can stay abreast of that information. Additionally, right here on this page here, this is my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me on social media or contact me on my cell phone. Contact me directly, 813-419-3927. My social media handle is at Chris Brown RE Pro. So be sure to look me up, contact me if you're in the Tampa Bay market, or if you have just a general question, feel free to DM me. I get a lot of questions in the DM, a lot. You know, people just asking general questions. A lot of the information I may have on a video, so I may just forward you a video or give you a suggestion. Hey, take a look at this, or hey, I'm going to address this or that specific topic in an upcoming video or upcoming market update. So be sure to check that out. Stay tuned. It's my goal to make sure that any potential seller that I'm working with, that they look at some of these videos that I'm sharing, because it's free information, but it's information that helps you become educated. Because if I'm working with an educated seller, and this is just me, it may not be everybody. If I'm working with an educated seller, it's a lot easier to communicate with them. It's a lot easier to make decisions. And it's also keeping the emotions out of the process. I know there are emotions. I won't say there's never any emotions. Real estate, there's always emotions, but at the same time, it's also making a well-informed decision and making sure that that you're handling and netting the most from your largest investment. So keep that in mind, guys. This is Chris Brown, your real estate professional and marketing entrepreneur. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to like, click, share this information with someone if you feel that they will find this information valuable. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in. And until next time, you guys take care. And to the latest and greatest. Care, guys.